So Dan, when you're talking with candidates and that's after you've already been talking with the organizations, be it a for-profit or not-for-profit, it comes down to a lot of people. We love what we do. We love the work we do, but you know, what's the compensation look like? I always, when I talk to people in the non-for-profit world, I always say, you work in the not-for-profit world, you're not the volunteer. So you need to be making sure that you're being compensated appropriately and properly. What does compensation look like these days?
That's so funny. I think it's interesting. So I'm sitting across from applicants, and I usually wait about 20 to 25 minutes into the conversation after they know I see them and we have a rapport. And I say, we haven't talked about salary requirements at all, and it's all over the map for folks. Like, where are you at? And when the reason I wait a little bit of time is because I want them to know that I trust them. And when I get people to kind of be just honest and vulnerable in the moment, it is far greater than some of the ads and jobs I see posted. I'm still seeing job postings for 45K and 50K. And to be frank, that's not going to cut it in terms of getting a really great camp director. And it's just not, like when you look at it, it really goes back to role and responsibility and what you're expecting for the outcomes for the person. But a really great executive director, about 100K is the starting price, regardless of your organizational size, and as you talk to folks, they either have one or two reactions. They go, "Oh, that's far too low," and again, it goes back to the size of the org and the responsibilities for executive director. Are they part of a bigger org? How much does fundraising play a factor? Or are they a standalone operation? And are they, kind of looking at it from a certain angle where they are the sole person in charge of the operation? On the flip side, I know there's a number of camps where folks are the executive director and it's really running for like a week or two, or it's running for a shorter duration, or it doesn't have a site, or it's just renting, and the number 100K just sounds unfathomable. It just sounds obscene almost, right? And so, just understanding that that's not what I'm referring to. I'm referring to when use that number, I'm referring to the folks that it's a year, it's a full-time role. It is a camp operating of a healthy size with a good fiscal budget, and it really varies on what that budget can be, but about 100K. Underneath that is their number two. I've seen titles as COO. I've seen VP of camping. I've seen camp director. It really varies when we talk about job titles, but the salary to get somebody that's solid as a number two is around 80K. And the truth is, the reason these numbers are high for some folks, or it might seem low to others, is that these are lifestyle jobs, right? Meaning that they're a full commitment in a way that other jobs do not ask you. I don't know how many weddings I've missed. I don't know how many vacations I've had to either cut short or my family's done without me because I've stopped counting. And the reason is because you're making a commitment to this job, to this community in a way that other career paths don't often ask, And so when we talk about this is hard for people to wrap their head around, but to run a camp properly, you really have to be in there, day camp or overnight camp. You really have to be not only having eyes on the program, but also just on in the trenches dealing with issues with your staff in order to really be in tune, in order to really provide the best care, in order to really run the safest and most fun operation. So when I mention these numbers, a lot of folks, the math just doesn't work out for them. And the truth is that there's a number of different ways to be upfront about how other benefits you have for them with flex scheduling or additional time off. I know a few camps will give literally the whole fall off. I don't recommend that either because, the fall is vital to kind of having a vibrant operation. Look at professional development. Some will still bring up housing. Again, I don't, I think you should remove that from the conversation, but I understand why people keep it in. Car allowance. There's a number of other different kind of little nuances that people can be there for them. Yeah, I've seen a wide variety, but that's really the salary range to get somebody that is going to operate at a full-time level, at a high level. Like they're your kind of like star athlete. So, but it's a lot. We know it's a hefty price tag for some folks.